is web development actually? So web development is the task that is associated with developing websites for hosting via intranet or the internet. Now, the web development process involves web design, web content development, client-side or server-side scripting, and network security configuration. So, a website can either be a simple one-page site or it could be an incredibly complex web application. So, when you view your website on the web in a browser, it is because of all the processes involved in web development. So now that you've understood what is web development, let's move on and discuss about who is actually a web developer. Now, a web developer is actually a programmer who specializes in the development of the World Wide Web applications using a client-server model. Now, they're also responsible for designing, coding, and modifying websites from layout to function and according to a client's specifications. So web developers usually just focus on a few languages. So you can either focus on the front-end programming of a website using the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, or on the server-side programmings like the PHP, Java, Ruby, and .NET. Now there are different job profiles of a web developer as well. So talking about the different roles, we have the front-end developer role. Now, front-end development is known as client-side development. So it mostly involves programming all the public-facing visuals and elements as part of a website's design. So front-end developers often have to collaborate with web designers. Also, they must have strong programming skills such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as they work with elements that are visible to the users. Now, this was about the front-end developers. Apart from that, there is another role known as the back-end developer. Now, back-end refers to the hidden layer that the users can't see when they visit a website. So they must have strong programming skills because the back-end layer forms a dynamic connection between the front-end and the database. Now, to get this layer working, it's important to know at least one of the programming languages such as Python, Java, PHP, SQL, C Sharp, Ruby, etc. And also you need the knowledge of server-side frameworks such as Node.js. And finally, we have a full stack developer. Now you can either work with the front end or the back end, or you can also work with both of these together, which is full stack web development. Now, a full stack web developer is someone who has a good understanding of how the web works at each and every level. So including setting up and configuring Linux or Windows servers, coding server-side APIs, running the client side of the application by using the JavaScript, operating and querying databases, and structuring and designing the web page with CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. So these were the different works of a front-end, back-end, or a full-stack web developer. And combining all of these, this was the task of a web developer.